Hey everyone, this is attorney Bobby Buchanan. This is Illinois Divorce TV. Today I'm answering a pretty simple question. Can you divorce someone from another state? So I'll answer this question from a couple different angles. The first one is, let's say that you got married in Illinois. You then you and your spouse stayed together for 5 years in Illinois, and then you left Illinois for California, and now you're wondering whether or not you can file your case and divorce this person that's still in Illinois. Well, you can certainly file the case in Illinois and proceed with your divorce. You don't need to be living in Illinois in order to file your case against this person who's also living in Illinois or who is living in Illinois. The requirement, the residency requirement for filing a divorce in Illinois says that either party, one of either party, has to be residing in Illinois for at least 90 days before the filing of the petition or 90 days before the finalization of the case. So, in that first scenario, you're good to go. The second scenario is you and your spouse live in Illinois or lived in Illinois, and let's say that your spouse moves to Washington State 5 years into the marriage and you decide that you want a divorce from this person, you still live in Illinois. Can you file for your divorce in Illinois even though they live in Washington State? The answer is yes, you can. You've met the residency requirement, therefore, you can file for a divorce against this person. Now, it does go a level deeper when we're talking about whether or not the court can resolve issues related to the divorce, such as the division of property. What's required there is that there is a connection between you or between your spouse and Illinois. So, in both of those scenarios, there would be a connection. In the first one, they still reside in Illinois. The property, we're assuming most of the property is in Illinois. In the second scenario, they've moved to Washington State. That being said, the majority of the marriage was in Illinois, and what the law says specifically is what did certain events occur, or one of the possible criteria is whether events occurred that led to the breakdown of the marriage. So it can get pretty fact specific as to whether or not you can file in Illinois when one of the parties is out of the state. But in many, many scenarios, it is possible. So, first, you got to look at, is the residency requirement met? That's the 90-day requirement. And then the second requirement is looking at what's called personal jurisdiction. Is there a connection between Illinois and both parties? You, as the person who's filing the case, can do what's called submit yourself to the jurisdiction of Illinois. So even if you live in Alaska and your spouse lives in Illinois, most of the time you can go ahead and really it's a question of does it make strategic sense, but you can submit yourself to Illinois' jurisdiction in order to litigate the case. Now, the third complicating factor is whether or not there are children and where those children live, because then you have to deal with something called the home state and whether or not Illinois is the home state of the children. If Illinois is not the home state of the children, then it may not make sense to file your divorce in Illinois. So while at the beginning of this, I did say this was a fairly straightforward question, there are multiple aspects that need to be looked at to figure out whether or not your case can be filed in Illinois. This is an analysis that most attorneys can do on the fly, and for 99% of the cases, it's pretty straightforward. There is either a good state to or there's the right state to file in or the wrong state. In some cases, there's multiple states where it could be filed and it may be a race to the courthouse or a race to serve the other side. And it's strategic as to where you do want to file because maybe the law is better for you in state A versus state B. So if there is a question of, you're wondering whether or not you can file your case in Illinois, if that makes sense, I would recommend reaching out to an attorney. You can look in the description below if you want to talk to me about it, but reach out to an attorney sooner rather than later, because if you have the opportunity to file in multiple places, you'll want to figure that out quickly so that you don't lose out on the state that you might want because you delayed. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, anything like that, drop them in the comments below and I'll respond as quickly as I can. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and I'll talk to you soon.